Safe to say that if you are a parent whose child is struggling with constipation, that you've heard of Miralax. It's commonly prescribed, it's an over-the-counter medication, but we know that no parent, unless they really have to, wants to turn to a medication. So in this video, we want to talk about Miralax and some of the documented side effects that come with it, but more importantly, give you another option, a natural option that you can work with your baby, toddler, or child who's struggling with constipation. In fact, this was this mom, Laura, and so many moms that come into our practice. She said this, she said, I had no idea that Miralax could make his behavior worse. My doctor definitely didn't tell me that. Now, this was about her son Justin, who had struggled with constipation for really the last couple years, had just been diagnosed with ADHD too, and behavior went off the deep end when she started Miralax. Now, Laura found pediatric chiropractic care because they were getting at a point where medication wasn't working. Miralax wasn't working, and Justin was still constipated. And so, thankfully, a friend had recommended that she find something other than the medication route. And they found a pediatric office and wanted to get started with a more natural route. So today in this video, what I want to talk about is Miralax, what it really is, why it's prescribed, and what are some of the things to look out for as parents. And then what are some of the natural solutions if you don't want to go that route. Now I'm going to pull up a couple articles in this too, but I want to start with Miralax and really break it down into what is the main ingredient and how is it supposed to work and how the natural processes with digestion are supposed to work. So the main ingredient in Miralax is polyethylene glycol 3350. And we know as parents, when you look at these long names on ingredient labels, kind of gives us a warning, just a warning sign or a red flag. Now this ingredient is designed to help the digestive tract hold in more water, because what it's supposed to happen in the lower digestion is that lower digestive colon area is designed to absorb water from the food that we eat to bring that back into the body. So this ingredient is designed to keep that water in the colon, then helping the body be sort of like a diuretic to help that constipation improve. Now, while they look at this, and there are some dosage recommendations on the package, there is no dosage recommendation for anyone under the age 17. And we'll talk about that because it's recommended, to reach out to your provider. Now, in the origin of this ingredient, I highly recommend you as a parent, you go do some more research because I think you'll be really surprised by what you find when you start looking into the origins of Miralax. And I'll share it with you a little bit, but definitely do your own research on this. Now, the FDA, it did a study on Miralax back in 2014, and they tracked 167 kids. And they actually found that in that study that many of the kids had severe emotional psychiatric side effects, such as behaviors, struggling with anxiety, along with increased bloating, gassy, cramping, diarrhea, all the things that Miralax is supposed to help with. In fact, I want to pull up this article right here, and I'll show you exactly where you can see this. So if you dig in this is just an article right here. Actually came from CBS News back in 2017 based off of that 2014 study. And it talks about and has a lot of different reports of all different things that the kids struggled with. They talked with a mom whose child had struggled with paranoia, mood swings, aggression, rage. That went way worse simply because they went on Miralax. Now, as a parent, I totally understand. You look at this and you're like, my gosh, why didn't my doctor tell me this? Well, I want to talk about a couple different things. It really makes sense that the scientific mechanism of putting water back in, right, that's going to help with the diuretic and help the fluid move through more easily to affect that absorption. Well, here's the problem with that. While you get temporary relief from that, what that can do is it can alter the body's normal physiological process of working with what's called the vagus nerve to stimulate healthy motility and just a natural digestive process. So not only does it cause the nervous system to struggle with a lot of behavioral stuff, it gets the nervous system off track on that natural, physiological process such as digestion. Now, if you dig in deeper to this, there's a lot of parent groups that are formed that are really will give you some support. So if you look at some of those groups, they talk a lot about the behavioral struggles with Miralax and give you a lot of different options from a parent, from clinicians, from people that talk to really dig in and find other options. But what I want to talk about in this video is kind of three different categories that parents try to help their kids on the other side of it to not use Miralax. And then talk about what we do to work with those three things. Because here's the thing, if you can find the root cause of it and a path to that, then you can absolutely find action steps that will work, that have solutions without using medications. Now, if you were in this world where your child has struggled with constipation, had to use Miralax, we know you've tried everything nutritionally, right? You've looked at, into what can they eat? What are their food intolerances? Secondly, and you may have not looked at this, is what are some of the neurological interferences? What is the brain in the body talking to itself and saying, okay, why are we getting these movements? Why am I holding on to bowel movements too long? Why is the body just not moving through that? And really the third category is you've tried both, and that's what I want to talk about now, is trying both can really be the answer. So what happens when you get limited motility and limited signaling, it's the nervous system. It just doesn't know when to let go of its digestive process. Now, this is what brings up the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a parasympathetic, meaning it's a primary brake pedal for the nervous system. And that brake pedal means it helps the body rest, sleep, digest, and truly relax. Now, that nerve, that vagus nerve, it starts up here in the upper cervical neck, and then it branches all the way through the digestive center. So it actually controls all of the neural signaling that goes with motility, with movement and digestion. But it also influences that absorption of fluids to exactly what Miralax is designed to do, to regulate that, or more or less stop that, to help that stay in there. The vagus nerve is meant to do that naturally. And so if you have a vagus nerve that is stuck up here and that signaling is off down here, that brain to body connection, that neurological connection isn't going to be able to help. So if you tried everything on the nutritional side, elimination diets, maybe upping the fiber, upping the prune juice, upping all these things, and you're still not getting answers, combining that with neurology in the nervous system is truly what will get you there. Now, if you've tried all of this nutritional stuff, that's where neurological focused chiropractic comes in, and that's where we can help. From a pediatric chiropractic standpoint, that's exactly what Laura did with Justin. Justin started chiropractic care. And what was really cool is he went from being constipated and going number two probably once every 5 to 6 days to actually started get going regularly after about a month of care. He was going every day at a minimum, every other day having these bowel movements. And then mom noticed that he was able to not have as many tantrums, not as many meltdowns, because right, two things. One, he's not on Miralax, and secondly, when you're digesting and that vagus nerve is working, you're just going to be more restful, relaxed, sleeping better. Your body is working with ease. And that's what they found with Justin, is when there was that stress that got stuck in there, it just didn't allow that whole parasympathetic system, the vagus nerve included, to work. And I know that every single child is unique, and I know that as parents, we get in the moment where there are struggles, and we have to do what we have to do for our kids. So if you had to try Miralax in the past, absolutely no judgment. But we know that if you don't want to continue that route, we want to give you some other options. And that's why we measure this in our office. We measure that neurological interference. We'll work with you on the things that you've already done nutritionally to get to the bottom and find the root cause of your child's constipation, because every child deserves that medication-free option, to just not have to deal with all the side effects or the what ifs with that, for their body to really conquer it naturally. So if you have more questions, we would love for you to comment below. We would love for you to talk to us. We would love to dig into how this is working. And if you've had Miralax before, we'll talk you through it and we'll give you those other options. So I hope this finds you well, and I hope this gets to the root cause, helps you get to the root cause of constipation, and have a medication-free route for you and your child.